let's talk about the Bluetooth streaming. I think you guys already know that it's a guitar amp. It has some controls on top with UI DSP built in, access to over 200 models for amps, effects, all that good stuff. And it gets really, really loud. So that's already known, right? We don't have to talk about that. Okay, great.
Bit, yeah.
Because then we focus on the fun stuff, which is the Bluetooth streaming stuff. So I'm going to just launch the music app on this iPad here, and I have a selection of artists. It's a very small playlist specifically for NAMM. And I'm going to play Tool, and I'm going to play a song called The Pots. And of course, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. 12 o'clock.
Wave your finger, you must have been out your head. I hold deep in muddy waters, you practically raised the dead.
That's always nice and impressive, but you can also play music that's maybe a little bit more delicate. So we have this great John Mayer tune by Georgia. Play by John Mayer, I should say. So the acoustic guitar is really nice and crisp. The voice pops like crazy. Yeah, this is a high quality speaker system. Okay, good. So let's quit the music app. We're done listening to music, now we want to play. So how do we do that? We launch the AmpliFi application. It's a free download on the iTunes store. Download it today and start to play around with it and just get a feel for it. Right? Obviously, it won't really do much for you without the amp, but you still can explore it, see how cool it actually is, and you see the UI, see all its models and so on and so forth. So, and I'm going to start out by going back to my library, and these are the same artists we just looked at. It's the exact same library, right? We just inherit the current library that's saved to this device. And I can go back to, say, my tool, right? Play the pots, turn it up, right? It's the same song. I'm going to hit pause. Maybe you've already heard that. And there's something else happening here on the right-hand side, and that is what we call tone matching. So what we do is we use metadata that's saved in the iTunes library, like the artist name, song title, genre, and so on and so forth. And we also tag our tones, or presets, if you will, with the same kind of metadata and some additional information. And that, in tandem with some additional things like the ranking, you see some stars here. I can go in and rank certain tones. Like I like this one a lot, so I give it 5 stars. And maybe another tone like this one here at the bottom doesn't have any stars, so maybe nobody liked it. So let's say this is now ready to play. I'm unfortunately not a great guitar player, so I'm not going to even try since you have cameras here. So I could play along with the pod, and then I can go through my library, and the app pulls tones automatically. Within a couple seconds, I'm ready to rock. I'm just ready to play. And whenever I watch people play along, they grin usually goes from ear to ear, right? They cannot believe how cool this is and how much fun it is to do. So it really is a lot of fun. And it's basically the intent of this amp. It's not a stage amp by design. It's an amp for the living room. This is also why the design is very clean and clear, right? Because we want listening to integrate well into existing living spaces and have maybe you could call it spouse approval. Right, you have an amp that lives in your house and it will stay for longer than so. Well, with that said, let's move on. Let's talk about what happens when you don't like a tone. Well, there's multiple things you can do. You can select other tones, of course. You can select this tone, or I can hit the more button, right? So like, well, maybe I like this tone. Maybe I don't like any of them. So what do? Well, I do my own. I edit and create my own tones. So this brings us to the editor. The editor basically is a remote control for the DSP that's in the device. Right? There's no actual tone generation in the iPad. Everything happens in the device. So, well, let's get started. Let's just pick an amp. So we have a pretty long list of amps. So this is the American category. Right? I can go to the British category and select from additional amps here, and let's just, I don't know, maybe Plexi 45, Plexis. And they're done, and now all those parameters basically controls the Plexi. And then I can say, well, maybe the tone isn't quite right, maybe the cab needs to change. So I can go to my cabs and have this 4x12s, let's say, 25s. That happens to be pretty popular, right? So let's just say that's a great tone. And I also have, choice of microphones and even some early reflections to add a bit more realism to the sound. So now let's say we're happy with our amp. Let's go straight to some effects. Why not just add a little bit of delay? So I can hit this delay category, I power up, and now I can go to my delays. And again, just a nice list of stomp boxes that are available. Why not? We already selected DL4, great. And now you have controls over for that delay. So you basically just dial in the delays that you want, and maybe add a little bit of reverb. Why not? Power this up. You select a device. You change the controls, and that's that. You're done. Now you want to save the tone, right? You're happy with it. Oh my God, it's the best tone on the planet. Now I need to save it. So there's a button down here called Save Info, and when I click this button, it takes me to this screen here. That incidentally is also the screen where we enter all the metadata that I talked about earlier, right? That helps me and will help others attach the right tone to the right song. And then a bunch of nifty features like autofill song info. We realize that not everybody will want to type out everything all the time, but we want to encourage people to document as much as possible because it will increase the quality of their tone, right? And then once you're done giving it a new name, giving it a certain, my finger not working.
Or maybe you can okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can only rate your own. I don't know, everybody.
No, you
rates
can rate
everybody.
You can rate everybody's tone.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then you can save tone. And oops, that wasn't good. Save tone. And it says save to my tones. So that's usually what you're going to do. And save to my tones will save the tone to the device. There's a separate, well, call it playlist, call it preset, or whatever. It's called My Tones, and all those tones that you saved locally will be on your device forever. And if you feel confident that your tone will be liked by a lot of other people, then you publish it. And publish basically takes the tone from your device up into the cloud. It will basically get uploaded to the Line6 server, the tone cloud, if you will. And now this tone is available for future tone matches for everybody else, and of course for you too. So you can travel, pick up somebody else's iOS device, download the app, hook it up to the amp wirelessly via Bluetooth, and there are your tones in the cloud.